I'm Jackson. I have zero experience with carpentry.
I studied at a school for historic preservation in Boston and learned about how things were built, 250 years ago.
There's a long way to go. I'm nowhere near the top. Not that I thought I was, but there's so much more to do out there.
Welcome to episode 0 of our Passion for Craft podcast. We actually have episode 1 live right now on our Patreon. So if you'd like to see episode 1, please head over there now and you can join in. By the time that this goes live on YouTube or Spotify or Apple Podcasts, there will already be a backlog of 4 episodes as well as 4 weeks of content that you will have access to if you want to join in on Patreon. All right, so filming, episode 0 here, and kind of the purpose of this episode is we really just want to explain kind of what we're doing on this podcast as a whole. And I think we'd love you guys to speak to this a little bit, but the overarching reason why we're doing this podcast is we've recognized that there is a problem with the state of craft in America.
Word.
Okay, great.
Yeah,
Okay,
no, I mean that you look at it from a number of different industries. It's not just woodworking and building, home building, but you look at it in the food industry. You've got fast food, you got fast fashion. There is, both of those things are a speed up, hurry, make it as fast, make it cheap, and so there is a overriding craft problem in America, and in the home building side, it is a snap in place, plug and play, heat and eat kind of arrangement where we're no longer crafting things, we are assembling things, or we're installing things, we're not crafting.
And not only different industries, but also different perspectives. Like our thing here is Jackson is the apprentice, I'm the journeyman, Brent's the master. So from those 3 perspectives, you have a different viewpoint of basically everything you just said. Some people may think, hey, the pill and stick is great. Whereas, you get into different perspectives, people are going to say, maybe that's not the best idea. It is fast, cheap, click to install, but maybe it's not the most well-crafted thing that you could do,
The most long-lasting, the most, sustainable, the most, the better for our environment. I mean, some of the plastics and things that we're making right now are bad. Yeah. The whole idea is that there's a guild system historically, okay? And the guild system was if you wanted to become a master builder, if you wanted to become a builder or, a woodworker, you'd go through a guild system. And there would be a master, and there in a town, there might be, 3 or 4 masters, and, they became masters because the guild got together and appointed the masters. That was the whole idea with the masterpiece, right? They made this masterpiece and they become a master. So you start out at possibly around 14, 15 years old. You start out as an apprentice. You're going for 5 to 7 years as an apprentice, okay, working for this guy. There are stories of of masters being just terrible taskmasters, but you went and lived with this guy and, lived in his family. He gave you room and board. Oftentimes you paid for this. Oftentimes you paid to be an apprentice to somebody.
Are we going to have to live with him?
Yeah. Well, I do.
I'll send you a bill. And then, you once you graduate, you become a journeyman. Why we call it a journeyman? Because they would leave the town and journey around to other cities and learn different things, learn new craft, learn different things, and then they would end up in a place and work to become a master.
I didn't know that.
I did not either.
No, that's cool.
That is cool.
So,
I'm the journeyman. I didn't know.
So, that's what we're set up, so that, Jackson, not knowing anything can be like, wait a minute, what?
Yeah, I mean, totally. I think this is such a cool system that we're modeling it after great craft, and it works. The system holds true even today. I don't know jack squat about squat. I just don't know anything about proper craftsmanship, and I look to you guys to go, wait a minute, why is that bad? And that's hopefully a helpful perspective for other people out there who maybe don't know or don't agree, is like, hey, that doesn't seem like it's the worst thing in the world. Fast food's great. And so hopefully that's the perspective I get to provide. And then Richard.
Yeah, I'm providing the perspective from being down that road already and then reaching towards the master, level. And, I've been around the block a few times, been in the industry for 12 years and just, taking that experience to the next level is really, what my whole deal is all about. You know, perfecting the craft, building on the blocks from the apprentice level that I already have now at the journeyman level. And I think the other thing too about it that's cool is that when you keep moving up in the levels, it just becomes more exciting. Like, I think the question we really want to answer is like why we're even doing this. At least one of the things for me is like my driving force of like why I get up and go to work every day is because I love to see beautiful things. Like it kind of ignites like a fire. It almost makes you like childlike again, like dreamy. It's like you look at some of these things and you're like, whoa, this is so cool. Yeah. So to work through all the levels, you know, it's a never ending journey. And I'm excited to embark on that, you know?
Yeah. And I mean, and that might be an optimistic look at the state of craft in America right now, because I'm sure as you're like recognizing, hey, it's not in a great place, and you're moving towards a great place. Brent's been in the great place for a while now, and has been banging his head against wooden blocks. Like, come on, people, there's better things out there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's opportunity in my mind, right? Yeah. It's just like, okay, you could have made that so much better if you had understood the historic precedent, understood the history and the designs and everything else.
And that's the banging the head into the block.
Right.
You could have
totally
made it better.
Yeah. Well, and a lot of that, the educational part of that is you could have made it so much better for the same price.
Totally.
You know?
Totally.
You know, there are obviously different levels where it's going to be higher budget stuff, but a lot of times if you would have just reorganized the way you put this, I mean, it would have been proportionally correct.
Totally.
You know, everything.
Well, and that talks about like that's the way we want to approach this podcast. But one of the things we're really hoping that you guys walk away with is an answer to a question. And so one of the ways we're hopefully going to be structuring this is we're going to provide kind of a question or a problem or something that's going on in the state of craft in America, obviously specific to home building and buildsmanship, but then provide maybe some tangible takeaways or solutions that you can walk away and think, okay, I feel like I have a better way of attacking this problem that's going on.
I just want to know what buildmanship is.
Made up word. It's like craftsmanship, but better. But yeah, I mean, that is a goal, to make up new words and to, to provide an answer to a problem that we've got. And I think one of the things that we would ask is, you know, we're hoping that you would grow with us, and we have a cool catered experience on Patreon. We can talk about it in a minute, but one of the perks is a Discord server where we get to engage with our viewers, and man, hopefully we get awesome questions in there. We've already gotten so many great questions from followers out there who are already a part of it, and
it's been fun answering those too.
Yeah, totally.
Well, and just so you guys know, episode 0 is being actually recorded about episode 6. That's great. So we've been talking. We've started the Discord. We've started this. So you know, our hope is that we're building a community, right?
Absolutely.
And we are. The goal is to raise the level of craft. And how do you do that? Not just by having a podcast where we just talk about it, but we're actually engaging you guys. And so, you know, the different levels, the apprentice level, they're just getting in Discord and everything else. The journeyman, you're getting access to my library, right? And so we are curating the library so that you will begin to build up. And there's a real vision for us so that as we've laid it out, you know, at the end of a year, end of 2 years, end of 3 years, you have a binder of information and stuff that just, you know, is out there, but it's just all over the place.
Scattered.
It's so scattered.
You know why it's scattered? Because the guild's gone.
Yeah.
Because there wasn't a master to teach a journeyman, the journeyman to teach an apprentice. So it just got lost.
Yeah.
You know, it's unfortunate.
It has got lost. And so, you know, Jackson and I were going over it in my library today. He goes, well, where's the book on, I was showing him the different pediments. And he goes, well, where's the book on pediments? It's like, there is no book on pediments, right? It's just like, if you wanted to learn, you know, the old way of doing it, I mean, you're going back into the archives and you're looking through, you know, I'm looking at books that are 200 years old, right?
And you're doing that and doing what those guys did who wrote those books, which was measure Roman pediments and measure Grecian pediment and go, okay, well, I guess they did it like this.
Well, that's what Palladio did. Yeah, for sure. So anyway, you know, and then the master level, they get access to Richard and, you know, some real time on the phone, looking at stuff, you know, solving problems. And so hopefully, right, those things together build a real solid place where we're actually not just talking about improving craft, but we're improving craft.
And we're trying to help. We definitely don't want to come off as like, hey, everything just sucks and, we're here to tell you why. Mm-hmm. We want to give you a solution. And, we don't know everything by all means. So I'm sure we'll learn also from our viewers.
Totally. So, and I think as we explore craft, just as a bigger view, you don't have to be a builder or craftsman to watch that or listen to this podcast. Hopefully you're going to learn things about craft and other industries. I told a story that I gave my talk on my book, Building a Timeless House in an Instant Age, one time, which is about the loss of craft and everything else. And, a dentist came up to me and said, that we've lost craft in dentistry too. And it was just like, so I think that this is.
It seems that we've struck a nerve, right?
It is a systematic problem in our society that we are. Richard, why are you about to laugh?
I'm just thinking.
It is a systematic. Let me just finish this thing. Okay. It is a systematic problem in our industry, in our culture, that things are cheap and fast, and so it's not just building.
I was just thinking MDF dentures.
I knew when I said that he was smiling to himself.
I was trying to
back
not
in the day,
show it.
George Washington had wooden dentures, but in today's day and age, he'd have MDF dentures,
which is the medium problem with craft right there.
I think that's the episode, guys.
Yeah. So hey, join with us. Look, if you're just viewing on YouTube, just listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, that's great. We are so glad that you're here. If you want a better, fuller understanding of what's going on and access to our community, where we're trying to change what craft looks like in America, join us on our Patreon, patreon.com/passionforcraft. Thanks so much.